It all started right here with this rocker arm pump 10 years ago, pulling 500 watts per hour to keep my pond aerated. So recently I decided to try running it off of a battery. It's a used battery, came out of a tractor the other day when I replaced the one that was in it. It ran the pump for exactly 22 minutes. So then I ordered a smaller battery with a different plan in mind, and that was to get rid of the rocker arm pump. It's a 35 watt battery. Now come on down here. I know you're walking around with me for a while, but that's okay. You can enjoy the scenery around my yard. Very nice place to live. We got about 9 acres out here. If you can see the pond down there and see the pump running, aerating in it right now, you kind of know where we're heading to. That is ways off for a camera. I never know what these things will pick up and won't pick up. What we're going to do is turn around right here and stop on this little AquaMiracle. This is the 40 watt version of this pump. I've got it hooked up to the same electricity line that comes off my house from right up there. So I've been running for 10 years on that rocker arm pump. Now my original thought was to connect it to the solar panel and use that 35 watt battery, because that would have very easily have handled the problem. You're talking about using 40 watts an hour and a 100 watt solar panel to drive it all day long, or most of the day, and then 35 watt per hour battery that would have handled it enough of the night to make me happy. The little setup here, all this goes underneath this box right here, which is insulated. That keeps it all safe from the weather. Then we run on down here. I'll give you a close-up of the pond. I got to tell you, I'm not great with these here cameras. They don't do what I think they're doing. Now this pond, if you look at the pier out there, if you can see it clearly, is almost up to the breaking point. So the amount of air that comes out of that aerator is pushing from about 2 foot further down than normal, which means that we're coming from about 8 foot deep. There's another one down here that streams off of the first one. As you can see, it's weak too because it's underwater pretty deep. Then we got one way down here. All of these running off the same line, just stringing along the ground inside the water. You get down here, you'll see a tremendous activity right now. But the water here is like 15 foot deep. When it drops 2 more foot, that's enough to increase this one to about half of what the first one is doing right now. And the first one will take over serious controls. I've got some small solar panels I use for some fountain sprinklers around here. Now my point is this. I spent roughly $30 a month running a rocker arm pump. About 10-12 hours a day at the most. 500 watts per hour or a little better. Rebuilt it twice over 10 years and paid like $600 for it in the first place. And now I've got a $140 pump here. I'm thinking it's going to be big enough, but if not, they make a 100 watt one that I could switch up to. That would definitely put out twice as much as this one puts out. But you see what I'm putting out is enough for that little pond, especially now that I can run it 24 hours a day for the cost of a tenth or less of what I was running it 8 to 10 hours a day for. So I'm going to highly recommend this thing. I was surprised at how much pressure it did put out. I've seen some ads where people were holding a piece of paper in front of it and saying, well, see, it don't even blow that paper. Problem was there was no pressure on that. You have to have pressure to build up before the air starts coming. So this one, when I first put it, I thought, they ain't gonna power nothing. They don't have any pressure. But once I hooked that hose to it, well, boom. 2 seconds later, there was pressure. Enough to carry 100 foot down through there and on down to the next one and on down to the next one. All right, so now you ask me what are you gonna do with the battery and the solar panel. Well, it just so happens that I have a pump station down in them trees down there that pumps water out of a spring up to the pond when I need it. And that battery and that solar panel is about 3 times as much as what I've been having on it, and it's been kicking good. So I got a double kill going here. I'm gonna make some good profit off of it. I highly recommend this little unit right here. It's not a monster, but it's quiet as it can be, and 40 watts per hour. Even if I run it from electricity rather than solar, it's gonna take care of my pond and save me a lot of money. It would you too. Take care.